UFC Fight Night Paris is on our doorsteps, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my full card predictions and breakdown for every single fight on this surprisingly super good Fight Night card. There are some great fights on here, especially the main and the co-main event. There are going to be some amazing fights. I'm excited to break them down for you guys today, and without further ado, like the video if you like the video, subscribe to my channel. Let's get it. Kicking off this card, we got a freaking amazing fight, dude, and we got Andreas Gustafsson taking on Rinat Fakhretdinov, and this is honestly one of my fights of the night, and it's probably my prelim of the night that I would give. This fight is absolutely amazing. I'm so hyped for this fight. Rinat Fakhretdinov, he's 23-1-1. He has a very shiny record, and he's won all of his fights in the UFC, except for one where he went to a draw with the Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Here's the problem about Rinat Fakhretdinov. He 100% robbed Carlos Leal. And he debatably lost to Nicholas Dalby, and he debatably lost to Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. And those three guys are his last three fights. And all three of them, you could argue, a loss to Rinat Fakhretdinov. If the judges felt... There's a very good argument to say that Rinat should be on a three-fight losing streak against three unranked guys in the UFC right now. So, there's an argument to say Rinat isn't even UFC level, is what I'm trying to say right now. Andreas Gustafsson just walked right through Khaos Williams, put on an absolute clinic, and did not give Khaos Williams a single second to breathe. It was nasty. It was brutal. It was domination. And it was one of the most dominant performances in the clinch. It was one of the most violent performances in the clinch that I've ever seen from a fighter. Those elbows and knees from Andreas Gustafsson are absolutely nasty, and I do think that he's just going to completely bully Rinat Fakhretdinov on the feet, dude. Rinat's going to try to get his takedowns, and maybe, who knows, dude, maybe Andreas Gustafsson off his back is a totally different guy. We'll see how he is off of his back, and we'll see how his takedown defense looks. But in his fight with Khaos Williams, Khaos had absolutely nothing for Andreas Gustafsson on the feet or in the clinch, and Andreas Gustafsson had his absolute way with Khaos Williams, and he was just blitzing at him the whole damn time. And Khaos Williams, I would argue Khaos Williams is a better win than any win that Rinat Fakhretdinov has got. Carlos Leal is a robbery. The Nicholas Dalby win is pretty good, but you could argue he lost. He went to a draw with Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, and besides that, his best win is Bryan Battle. Now, Bryan Battle's not even in the UFC anymore. So, I'm going to be taking Andreas Gustafsson here by a dominant 30-27 decision, just like his last fight. And this might be the end for Rinat Fakhretdinov. Moving up the card, we got Robert Burzchek taking on Brad Tavares. And this guy, Robert Burzchek, has not fought in a year and 7 months. And he has one fight in the UFC, and that was his last fight a year and 7 months ago, and it was a loss to Ihor Potieria. And if anybody knows who Ihor Potieria is, it's not a good look. This guy's not UFC level. It's a very bad look to be losing to Ihor Potieria in the UFC. And I think that it's even worse matchmaking by the UFC giving Robert Burzchek a fight like Brad Tavares. Listen, Tavares, this is easy money for Tavares. Knock on wood, right? But listen, Tavares has fought better competition than this in almost every single one of his previous fights. And in the UFC, at least. He's coming off of a win over GM3 where he totally just destroyed GM3. Totally destroyed GM3. It was like, he won every round so clearly and obviously. And besides that, he's losing to real high-level guys. And it's like, none of these guys are at the level of Robert Burzchek, man. I don't even know why Robert Burzchek is even in the UFC. This dude's not even UFC level. Brad Tavares is going to beat him. He does not deserve this opportunity that he's getting. I'm taking Brad Tavares by a 30-27 decision. Moving up the card, we got Sam Patterson taking on Trey Waters. And here's the thing about Sam Patterson. He got KO'd very badly by Yanel Ashmouz in his debut. And he was at lightweight for that fight. But since then, he moved up to welterweight. And he has 3 UFC fights at welterweight and 3 finishes there. And he just KO'd Danny Barlow, and Danny Barlow is good. Sam Patterson was a huge underdog in that fight. Not a lot of people were expecting him to win. Danny Barlow had a lot of hype behind him going into that fight. He was 9-0, 2-0 in the UFC, got a win on the Contender Series. People thought he was legit. I remember thinking that Danny Barlow was legit. Sam Patterson knocked him out bad. Fast. Easily, I might say. Made it look easy, at least. He has 3 wins in the UFC at welterweight, all of them by finish. He also subbed Kiefer Crosby and Johan Linnes, and neither of them are that good. But his other win over Danny Barlow was an amazing win, and that was his last fight, and I really do think that he's going to be able to carry that momentum. I know that Trey Waters is good, and he looked really good against Billy Ray Goff, but Billy Ray Goff is not that good. He's really not. I know that he's flashy, and he scraps, and he likes to scrap, and he has good fights, and his fight with Trey Waters was a war. But he's not that good, and it showed against Ramiz Bahimash. And Trey Waters also got another win over Josh Quinlan, but it was also by decision, and he didn't really have Quinlan in many almost getting finished type of positions. Not a lot of action. Not a lot of action in Trey Waters' fights. His 2 fights in the UFC have both been won by unanimous decision, and both of them have been pretty underwhelming in my opinion. His Billy Ray Goff fight, although it was amazing, you could argue that he lost. So it's like, it's not even really... You could argue that he lost. So it wasn't that amazing of a performance, although it was an amazing fight. And I think that Sam Patterson is going to be able to get this one done. I think the finishing ability on the side of Sam Patterson is going to be able to carry him in this fight. And I think that he's going to knock out Trey Waters in round 1. Moving up the card, we got Marcin Tybura taking on Ante DeLiha, man. PFL champ. I don't care! Marcin Tybura is getting it done with ease, I tell you. All right? Listen. Does me never seeing Ante DeLiha win a fight before play a factor? Maybe. Does it play a factor that the only time I've ever seen Ante DeLiha fight, he got chinned in the first round of the PFL championship? Maybe. He's still not beating Tybura! Marcin Tybura, man. Marcin Tybura, man. The big plotty heavyweight, dude. He's top 10 heavyweight, dude. Top 10 Tybura. You can't get past Tybura. I don't know, man. I really don't know what to pick here. I don't know. All right, I'm picking Tybura because I've never seen DeLiha wrestle. That's my take. Moving up the card, we got Umar Sy taking on Brendeson Ribeiro. And I know that Umar Sy has got an 83-inch reach at light heavyweight. But how is this guy such a big favorite? He's like minus 450 against Brendeson Ribeiro. And listen, I know that Ribeiro's not that good, and I know that he's kind of chinny. He's been chinned a few times. He got chinned by Zhang Ming Yang. He got chinned by Azmat Mirzakhanov. Did we not just watch Umar Sy stuff his face in a damn single leg for 3.5 minutes of round 2 and throw the fight away against Alonzo Menifield? Did we not just watch Umar Sy stand around at range and flick calf kicks and not throw his hands at all against Alonzo Menifield and throw the damn fight away? Did we not just watch Umar Sy look like complete shit against Alonzo Menifield? That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen out of a fighter. And he was like a minus 900 favorite against Alonzo Menifield. It was literally the worst fight I've ever seen. It was the worst fight I've ever seen, dude. It was just the worst fight I've ever seen. And Menifield won, and it was just... Menifield should not have won, dude. Like, he did win. Like, he did. But it's like, Umar Sy, that was so pathetic. And part of me wants to believe that you're going to change your ways, dude. But I don't know. You're French, so... Maybe this is just how you fight. I'm taking Brendeson Ribeiro. Brendeson Ribeiro's decent, man. He has a couple good wins in the UFC. I know that he's lost badly a couple times. He's been chinned a few times where it's like, damn, like, retire, you know? But listen, he's fighting amazing fighters. Azmat Mirzakhanov and Zhang Ming Yang are so much better. They're so much better than Umar Sy. It's not even funny, dude. Umar Sy just got, not destroyed, but he looked so bad against Menifield. I don't see a way where Umar Sy wins this fight. I'm taking Brendeson Ribeiro by second round TKO. If Umar Sy tries to stuff his face on a single leg for 3.5 minutes, I don't think Ribeiro's just going to let it happen to him. All right? I'm taking Ribeiro by KO. Moving up the card, we got Caio Fernandez taking on Fares Ziam, and I think that Fares Ziam is going to absolutely carry his momentum from his last win over Matt Frevola into this fight with Caio. I think this matchmaking is very, very poor from the UFC. I don't think Caio Fernandez deserves a shot at a guy like Fares Ziam, and I don't think Fares Ziam needs to fight a guy as low in the rankings as Caio Fernandez. Give Fares Ziam a ranked fighter. This dude keeps on winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. And he just KO'd Matt Frevola bad, dude. It was an amazing win, dude. And I think he's going to carry this momentum with him through into this fight with Caio Fernandez. Caio Fernandez is coming off of a pretty good win over Garam Kutateladze. And listen, although Garam sucks, he did have Ilya, Merab, and Hamzat in his corner. So maybe he's a little bit better. Or not, maybe not. I don't know. The win's still kind of impressive, all right? And he did knock out Muhammad Yahya, and that's something that the other dude could not do because he dropped Muhammad Yahya like 7 times in one fight and still couldn't finish him. The doctor had to step in, but listen. That's beside the point, all right? But Caio Fernandez, although he has a couple good wins in the UFC, he's on a 2-fight win streak. He looked pretty good against Garam. Fares Ziam is way more battle-tested than Caio. He's fought way tougher competition than Caio Fernandez has. And I think that Fares Ziam is going to carry his momentum into this fight, and I think he's going to absolutely school Caio Fernandez in this one. Give me Fares Ziam by a 3rd round. Moving up the card, we got Paul Craig taking on Modestas Bukauskas. And this is a very, very weird fight because Modestas is coming off of truly one of the worst robberies I've ever seen, where he did not win a single round against Ion Cutelaba and got his hand raised. It was crazy. He got 30-27 by Cutelaba, and then he got his hand raised. So now he's here. Before that, he beat Rafael Caquera, who's absolutely awful. One of the worst fighters on the roster, straight up. 0-3 in the UFC, got dominated in all 3 of his fights. And then before that, he did beat Marcin Prachnio, which at the time was a good win. Prachnio looked good at the time. I remember I picked Prachnio in that fight. Modestas has been active. He's fought twice this year. He's looking to fight again, of course. He's fighting this weekend. But Paul Craig, man. It's Paul Craig, man. I don't know who to pick, dude. I actually do know who to pick. I'm picking Modestas Bukauskas because I cannot trust Paul Craig to win a fight. But let me tell you something. I'm going to be pulling for Paul Craig, and I hope he gets the damn job done because I definitely want to see Paul Craig get a victory. I feel like I haven't seen him win in like ages, dude. Hey, but he was beating Rodolfo Bellato. He was beating Rodolfo Bellato before Bellato faked being KO'd. And it was the worst fake KO I've ever even seen in my life, dude. And then, listen, I don't even know how Bellato's not cut from the UFC. That's not the point. Paul Craig, dude, looked pretty decent against Rodolfo Bellato, and he was throwing his hands. He was throwing them a little bit, dude. Listen, I'm not going to pick him to beat Modestas Bukauskas because Bukauskas is pretty good, and he had his moments against Cutelaba. I'm taking Modestas Bukauskas by 30-27 decision. Paul Craig, pull it out for me, dude. Pull it out for me. Pull it out for the Scottish. Moving up the card, we got Mason Jones taking on Balaji Oki, and this fight is going to be absolutely amazing, I think. Mason Jones is coming off of a great scrap with Jeremy Stephens, where he really did go to war with Jeremy Stephens in those first 2 rounds. And although he did win the 3rd round pretty convincingly, it was not an amazing performance by Mason Jones. He was supposed to absolutely walk through Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens was not looked at as a guy who had a chance in this fight, and he absolutely, debatably won the fight. So I do not think that was a great look for Mason Jones, even though, because the fight was amazing, people are giving Mason Jones credit for that, but he did almost lose to Jeremy Stephens, and he should have walked right through him, and he didn't. So I think that is a very, very bad look, if you ask me. And now he's going to be taking on Balaji Oki. And Balaji Oki is coming off of a win over Mike Laswell Jr. And Mike Laswell Jr. took that fight on only 2 days' notice. He got a short notice replacement like that. It's a very, very tough fight. It's a very, very tough matchup. It's very, very tough for a fighter to switch like that on 2 days' notice, to switch opponents like that. And Balaji Oki did in 30-27 to Mike Laswell very, very convincingly. And it was a pretty good fight on the feet as well. Balaji Oki's had a couple great UFC wins, and although he did lose to Chris Duncan, don't we all lose to the Scottish lad? Don't we all lose to the Scottish? We all lose to Paul Craig and Chris Duncan, right? Right. We all lose to Paul Craig and Chris Duncan. Okay, but okay, whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Actually, I don't even know. I'm going crazy. I'm going insane. I've restarted this clip like probably 6 times. I'm so sick of it, dude. I'm not restarting this video. I'm taking Balaji Oki, and I'm taking him by damn decision. All right, we're moving on. We're moving up the card. We got Mauricio Ruffy taking on Benoit St. Denis. This is the co-main event, and it's a very, very big fight. One of the most hyped up fights on this whole card. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying, a lot of hardcore fans, all right, talking about Benoit Saint Denis, man. He's going to break him, man. Listen, this whole take on how Ruffy's so overrated is just so casual to me. A lot of people are talking about how Ruffy's so overrated, this and that. Benoit's going to pressure him and break him on the feet. I'm hearing that from people. Let me tell you something. Ruffy might be a little overrated. But let me tell you something. Benoit Saint Denis is the slowest fighter I've ever seen on the feet, dude. He is the slowest fighter I have ever seen on the feet. I'll say that a third time if you need me to, okay? Ruffy is beating this guy. He's chinning him out cold. I'm sorry, I know that Benoit's good. I know that his wrestling is good, but it's really not that dominant. It's more Benoit, he relies more on like his physical strength and grit and like toughness to get takedowns rather than skill. And I don't think that's going to hold up for him against Ruffy throughout these 3 rounds. The Fighting Nerds, they're great at studying. They're great at studying their opponents. Their takedown defense is shown to be great from Prates and Caio and Gene Silva. So why not bank on his takedown defense to be good with Ruffy? All right, or no, why not bet on Ruffy's takedown defense to be good? I think Ruffy's going to chin him out cold, man. Benoit Saint Denis, he's so slow coming in. He walks in with his hands at his hips, dude. Throwing from his hips. It's sad. It's scary to watch, dude. I do not know how he's not getting chinned more often. I seriously don't know how he's not getting chinned more often. Benoit is like the slowest fighter I've ever even seen, dude. Listen, I know that Benoit might be able to get his wrestling going, and I think that he will get his wrestling going in that first round, but in round 2 and round 3... Actually, no. I'm changing my pick. Ruffy's going to chin him in the first, dude. That was a bad take by me. What I just said. I don't think Benoit's going to get his wrestling going in round 1, because I think Ruffy's chance is a round 1 KO. I feel like Ruffy... The thing with Ruffy, though, that does scare me, is after the first round, he's a whole different guy. He's very similar to featherweight Conor McGregor in the fact of when Conor McGregor, with prime Conor McGregor, after Conor would throw like 20 or 25 shots that were super flashy and super explosive, after like his 20th strike, he's not the same guy. He's really not the same guy. And Ruffy's going to try to land that left hand, and I think that he will, though. I just feel like he's going to land it so easily on Benoit, man. Benoit is so slow. He's so slow on the feet. I just don't see him not getting caught by a shot with Ruffy. I'm sorry, dude. I know that Benoit's wrestling is decent, but I don't even think he's going to get a chance to get it going. I think Ruffy's going to chin him quick. I think he's going to chin him early, and he's going to put him out cold badly. Give me Mauricio Ruffy by KO. And moving up the card, we got the main event, and it's Caio borrahlo taking on Nassourdine imavov. And I'm taking Caio by Fighting Nerds Aura. All right? Caio borrahlo's convinced me. He's convinced me that he's going to school imavov. That's all I can say. What else do you want me to say? That's the only take I have. That's the only reason why I'm picking him, dude. Caio has completely convinced me. Because if we actually break this fight down and look at who has the better wins, who has the better performances, imavov wins, all right? Imavov has wins over guys like Brendan Allen, and he knocked out Izzy. Caio borrahlo knocked out Paul Craig. And I know we don't lose to the Scottish, but Paul Craig is not that good. And he's not Nassourdine imavov level. But Caio looked very, very good against Jared Cannonier. Like 50-45, maybe a 10-8 in the 5th, kind of good. Like, very, very good performance by Caio in that fight. Jared Cannonier did not have anything for him in the stand-up. But Caio borrahlo, man, the Fighting Nerds Aura, he's convinced me. He's convinced everybody. He was talking about how he has the trick to beat Khamzat. He has the X factor to beat Khamzat. Dude, Caio is so damn inactive, and his best win is Cannonier. I'm still picking him, though. I am still picking Caio borrahlo by sub. All right? Okay. Although I'm picking him by Fighting Nerds Aura, I do think that he's going to out-grapple Nassourdine Imavov, though. I do think that he will. And I think that he's going to shoot on Imavov early. I think he will as well. I mean, I feel like if he stands on the feet with Nassourdine and doesn't shoot, good chance he loses, all right? Good chance he loses even if he does shoot. But he's convinced me, and I hope I can convince you guys too, because Caio Borrahlo is going to win this fight, and I'm picking him by third round submission. I think that on the feet, the fight's going to be very, very close, of course, but Nassourdine's probably going to edge him out a little bit. But Nassourdine Imavov, I know that he knocked out Izzy, and that was a good KO, but Nassourdine Imavov has never been that. He doesn't push that crazy of a pace on the feet. That's what I'll say. Usually the fights on the feet with Imavov are slow-paced, a lot of thinking involved, stuff like that. And I think he's going to give Caio enough time on the feet to set up his takedowns nicely. And I think that he will. And I'm going to pick Caio Borrahlo by a round 3 submission. I'm so excited for this card, especially for the main and co-main event. The Fighting Nerds are back, and they're going against the Frenchmen, all right? The frickin' Frenchman and Benoit Denis and Nassourdine Imavov. I'm so hyped for this card. For this card. This fight card is going to be absolutely amazing. So like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know what picks you agree on, disagree on, whatever in the comments. Say whatever you want. And who's with me?